The Bar Meili Fountain, a pretty popular location if you've seen Enemy at the Gates, which is a popular one in the comments, or maybe you played Call of Duty World at War, or maybe even you just happen to know a little bit about Stalingrad. Might I say a very eye-pleasing piece of art. It isn't just our introduction to REZNOV, it's also our introduction to Dmitry. REZNOV spots Dmitry crawling through the bodies and immediately tells him to keep quiet.
I need your help.
Considering that REZNOV has a very bad hand injury and does not have one of his fingers, he turns to Dmitry and hopes that he can do what he tells him. So of course, after REZNOV gives out one of the best sniper lessons he could to Dmitry, Dmitry even goes on to kill who REZNOV referred to as the architect of Stalingrad's misery, General Heinrich Amsel. This is the start of what would become a very good friendship between REZNOV and Dmitry. About 3 years later, we move to the countryside of Germany. I don't know how Dmitry got himself in this situation, but he's inside of a house captured. The man needs help. Before being executed, a tank blows a hole in the wall. With that injuring 2 of the 3 German soldiers, REZNOV walks in through the smoke and guns down the last one. Dmitry at this point has become REZNOV's example when speaking to other soldiers and how they should carry themselves during the battle. Breaking through the German forces' last lines of defense, Dmitry and REZNOV bully their way through Berlin until reaching what REZNOV called the Black Heart of Berlin, fighting all the way to the damn Reichstag building. German forces only getting weaker as you see injured, bandaged soldiers on the front lines. The lack of numbers for Germany meant even commanding officers could be seen. The desperation was showing itself very well. Upon making it all the way to the top though, where REZNOV cut the flag and tells Dmitry the honor is his, and you finally get that Soviet flag raised as the cries of "Hoorah" are heard from the victorious Russians.
Germany had surrendered, and a Russian flag flew over Berlin.
So I believe that's about 7 times we see the Dmitry and REZNOV alliance in action. Over about 2 months, Dmitry managed to fully recover from his wounds, apparently even being promoted to sergeant. Sometime in October, REZNOV and Petrenko were both assigned to Unit 45, a Soviet special projects team under the command of General Nikita Dragovich. This is something that we learned later in Black Ops 1. Under Dragovich and Kravchenko's orders, Dmitry and REZNOV were dispatched to capture a Nazi scientist named Steiner and secure a shipment of Nova 6, an extremely toxic nerve gas from the last remaining Nazi base in the Arctic Circle. Once Dmitry and REZNOV captured the scientist, he was brought back to Dragovich and Kravchenko to give them the location of the Nova 6 weapon. While successfully finding the Nova 6 that they were looking for, what was to come could not be expected.
Dragovich wanted to see the effects of the poison firsthand.
Dragovich and Kravchenko betrayed Dmitry by using him and the other 2 men as test subjects. Dmitry died a very slow and painful death from the Nova 6 gas. Before REZNOV's eyes, he was literally watching him through the glass. The date is October 29th, 1945 at the young age of 22. Now REZNOV was in line to be next until the British winded up invading the ship. Dmitry's body was supposedly never recovered and lost at sea. So if you're ever wondering why REZNOV had such a strong will to kill Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner, it's because he lost one of his best friends in probably one of the worst ways possible. And if we know REZNOV, it's one thing, REZNOV would never let anybody near him die in a million years if he could in some type of way stop it. But he had to literally sit there and watch it happen. Dmitry lived from 1923 to 1945. REZNOV calls him the hero of Stalingrad.
Instead of giving his life for the glory of the motherland, he died for nothing, like an animal. He should have died in Berlin. As I watched my closest friend die, it became clear we were not the only ones seeking the German weapons.